announcing the first pyro plushie from Deadites on deck. Oh, he is adorably mischievous, cute as a button, and ready to be your forever friend. Someone to talk to when you are lonely, someone to keep the monsters away at midnight, someone to hug when you've had a hard day. Welcome home, home. We hope you will stay. Welcome home, home. We hope you will stay. VHS attacks in your living room. Creepy little gremlins oozing slime in your VCR. Stacks of films to frighten and entertain, hiding in your closet and duplicating on your shelves. It's time to watch. It's time to be scared. Don't look behind you. It's a mess back there. It's a VHS overload. Don't look behind you. It's a mess back there. It's a VHS overload. Oh, 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 oh.
Howdy, gang, and here I am. I just can't stay away. For those of you that saw my previous video where I said basically I wasn't going to do any streams this week due to, plumbing issues we got at the house and work-related insanity. Um, but I thought, well, maybe this will make me feel better. Maybe if I get in here and I talk about VHS cover art and hang out with you guys and gals that want to hang out with me for however long it takes for me to talk about 6 different VHS covers from 1982. We're going to get to that here shortly. We had more drama with our plumbing. Apparently, when the plumber was here, and they're coming back tomorrow because they say we have a clog in our main drain line, which pretty much affects the whole house, So we had been doing things, trying to do things as normally as we could, taking quick showers when we would take quick showers, flushing the toilet occasionally or when it really needs it. And everything was going smoothly. Well, that was until I decided to do a little laundry. And I just, there were just 2 or 3 things in the washer because Sammy had ended up peeing on the dog beds. And I was like, well, we're not really doing anything else right now. Maybe I'll try to do that. And everything was going fine. Apparently, I guess until the water drained out of the washer. And I called Steve back here because I wanted him to look at something I was working on. And then he started, he started going back towards the bedroom because he was going to lay down. And for whatever reason, I was following and going into the living room, and I heard him yell, "Ah!" I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What is it?" He said, there's water all over the floor in the bathroom. It's everywhere. And I was like, oh no. So we were in there trying, laying down towels to sop up the water and trying to figure out where the water had come from. Steve said, I bet the toilet overflowed. I said, no, the toilet didn't overflow. The bathtub didn't overflow. But apparently, when the plumber was here last, or, well, he's been here 2 days in a row, Monday and Tuesday. Apparently, one of the days he was here, when he pulled our toilet out, because he said he had to pull the toilet out to check for a clog, he broke the wax seal on the base of the toilet. And whenever I tried to do a little laundry today, I guess it was too much for it, and water literally leaked out from the base of the toilet all over the bathroom floor. So we finally got it all dried up. Now I've got wet towels thrown in my bathtub because we didn't really know what to do with them. And so I was not happy. I was not a happy camper. When this girl ain't happy, nobody's happy, basically. And I told Steve, I said, you better tell him that because he left that wax seal off or he broke it, that's what's compounding our problem now. I said, and they better, take some money off the cost that you paid, or they better put a wax seal on there for free or something, because I am fit to be tied over this. Hey, X-Ray, you say, oh man, I can't imagine the toilet used by Steve leaking is good news. Well, I'll tell you, X-Ray, I know toilet leaking is good. If you've ever had a toilet leak, you know what happened with us. And thankfully we had already flushed it, so there wasn't like nasty water. But still, I had to use almost every towel we had in the house to dry up the water on the floor in there. Yeah, especially after Cinco de Mayo. Oh man. So, and just to share a little bit about my work woes, I promise we're going to get to these VHS covers. I had to put in 563 new employees at my place of employment. I don't want to mention the place of employment. I know I have mentioned the company I work for, but in this case, I thought it better not to. Okay. And I had to put them into a program that we use at my company. And it was basically a one woman show because I really didn't know how to have anybody help me with this, because I'm using a bulk uploader tool. And I kid you not, folks, I worked till 11 o'clock last night. 11 o'clock. And yeah, I work from home, but still, folks, it's not good. And I still had 8 locations that I needed to put into this program today. But if I hadn't worked till 11 last night and got the majority of them in, there would have been no way I would have met my deadline, which was our meeting at 12 o'clock today, 12 o'clock Eastern time. So I asked my boss, my supervisor, I said, hey, I said, and I mean, I burned a lot of hours last night. And I said, would it be okay if I took off after lunch? And he said, well, can you work till 2 Eastern time? And I was like, yeah, okay. But they're still going to owe me about 5 hours of overtime. Because, I offered to take off earlier today and they couldn't spare me. So that's what happens. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get to these movies, but I just wanted to do a little housekeeping, and then I promise we're going to get to this VHS cover art. For those of you that saw the commercial for Poe, and I'll show him again for those of you that didn't get a chance to see him. This is my first Poe that I ever created. And Poe, of course, is the Deadites on Deck horror shop mascot. This is Poe. He is not 3D. He can't, stand up on his own. But I think he's pretty decent for my first plushie. This is the first Pyro plushie. That's the brand name of the plushies that I hope to be creating more of these. But the price tag on these is $50. They're soon going to be making their way to the Deadites on Deck shop at deaditesondeck.com. This one is my Poe. I'm not going to sell him. He's very special to me because he's the first one I made. But I kind of wanted to show you guys and gals, for those of you that haven't gotten to see Poe yet. So, anyway, let's put him back up here. Oops. Okay. Just wanted to show him off. We still got movie roulette going on. I still owe Menelect movie roulette for Jeepers Creepers and Host. I just did one quite recently for Into the Pit, the Dead Pit documentary. That was something that CK picked. Paid us $5 super chat or more, and that's the deal. If you give a $5 super chat or more during any live stream, that includes this one, that includes watch alongs, that you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to watch and do a review on. Okay. I'm soon going to have more designs coming to the shop, again at deaditesondeck.com. I've got a Intruder Night Crew design for those of you that are fans of Intruder. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Intruder. You can look it up on IMDb. You may be able to find a way to watch it on YouTube or possibly Tubi. I'd try the usual suspects. There's a World of Stephen King design coming soon. Yeah, and I got ideas for several designs, new Deadites on Deck logos and more Poe designs and all kinds of good stuff. Hopefully next week, Dick's Picks and Cannon Fodder, and they're all messed up, will all return next week. I just wanted to drop in here and do something that, doesn't take a lot of brain power. And I think I know why now. I might have been feeling bad lately, and I hope this doesn't gross anybody out, but I think I've got a bladder infection is basically what I believe I have. So I'm going to try to drink some more water, a lot more water, and try to get me some medicine for this. But I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. But let's go ahead and dive right in to these VHS covers from 1982. Yes, they are all horror as well. And hopefully I'll have little stories to tell about each one like I have these other VHS overload shows. All right, so the first one, oops, hold on here. There we go. Is Pieces. And again, this is one that I saw that cover art in my video store rental days. And yeah, this really did it for me. How can you not, being a horror fan, how can you not see you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre? There was also a tagline, Pieces, it's exactly what you think it is. And you've got a woman that looks like she's been Frankenstein together. She's been, made from different body parts. You've got the big chainsaw there, just everything that a horror fan could ever ask for, in my opinion. Right there in the picture on the VHS cover. Um, and, the way the text is, the word pieces is like it's been cut into with the chainsaw. And you get Christopher George and Linda Day George. You get Paul Smith and Edmund Purdom. I mean, really, how can you resist? Now, Pieces is a Spanish film. They tried to make us believe it was filmed in Boston, at a college in Boston. Um, when I was a kid, I didn't know the difference. I didn't know any better. But when I got older, I realized that, yeah, this is dubbed. I found out a little later that it was Spanish. It was directed by Juan Piquer Simon, or Simon, however. I think it's Simone. Um, but y'all feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. Uh, Deer Hunter, I don't think Steve watched any new Asian movies here lately. Um, Not that I can think of. Now, if you mean, well, you said Asian horror. About the only Asian film that I can say that he's seen recently is some martial arts films and a Bruce exploitation movie. Um, what is the name of that? Bruce Lee, or The Last Days of Bruce Lee, or whatever. Um, Pretty much one of those Bruce exploitation movies. I was looking at his poster over there, and all I can see is the Bruce Lee. So, not any new Asian horror movies, though. Did he watch? But to me, to get back to Pieces a little bit, Pieces is classic horror. To me, or classic, exploitation slasher horror. Um, Bruce Leroy. Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, this one was definitely one that I picked up on in my video store rental days, and I have fond memories of renting it for the first time and watching it. I believe I sat down and watched it with my mom for the first time. I watched a lot of horror movies growing up with my mom. So anyway, that's Pieces. And so the next one is Basket Case. Again, how could you resist, as a horror fan, how could you resist a cover like this? You've got the bloody writing that says Basket Case. This video store actually had stickers that said mature, rated R, restricted. This was a media home entertainment release. And above the bloody lettering that says basket case, you have a creature reaching out his hand, and you see his eyes there. And you don't know at this point what the heck this thing is going to look like. Um, Really, all you know is there's this creepy looking creature peeking out of this basket at me, and I've got this bloody writing that says basket case. That's all you know from the front cover. Now, yeah, if you were going to rent this sucker, you could flip it over and read the plot synopsis for the movie. And the movie does concern twin brothers. I guess you would call them, conjoined twins nowadays. I'm not going to use the other term because people get upset when you say that term now. So they are separated, and Bilal is the brother that basically gets thrown out in the garbage, and he's none too happy. Well, Dwayne, the normal looking brother, comes and gets his mutated brother out, and they end up killing their father and going to live with um, their aunt, I believe, is who they go and live with, and she raises them, doesn't send them to regular school. She does homeschool, and a woman comes to check up on them, says, you know, you need to send the boys to real school. You need to send them to public school. But when she sees Belial, she's like, you know, and she just leaves. Um, no, Deer Hunter, they are not my own personal copies. And I wish they were my personal copies. I don't have too many VHS right now. But the whole purpose of doing this stream is to show the VHS covers. I don't think it would do me any good to show DVD copies or 4K copies or anything like that, because I want you guys and gals to see what the VHS covers look like. So I know people show, you know, pictures that are not their own pictures sometimes. We tend to pull things from the internet, etc. I wish that I could say that these were mine. I wish that I could say I had copies of all these on VHS, but frankly, I don't know where I would put them if I did have all these. But this is another one that, you know, combined with seeing this cover art and also reading the back of the VHS case, I was like, oh yes, I have to rent this one. And this is one that I bought in several different formats over the years because it, you know, I love this movie so much. Now, it's a crazy off the wall type of movie where it gets into modern times, or modern times for 1980, 81, 82. And Dwayne has made his way to New York and bringing his brother with him in a basket. And there's a running joke kind of in the film. Everybody keeps asking, what's in the basket? And, you know, he'll say clothes or, you know, books or whatever. You know, he's not going to tell him it's his deformed brother, Belial. So, but Belial starts, you know, escaping from his basket and starts attacking people. But what they're really doing in New York is to get revenge on the doctors who separated them. And very bloody film, very gory film. I ain't even going to lie about that. So if you are adverse to a lot of blood and a lot of gore, you might want to skip out on this one. But if you're game for it and you've never seen Basket Case, I urge you to check it out. Just a fun little slice of exploitation horror, courtesy of Mr. Frank Henenlotter, who I met a few years ago at a Cinema Wasteland convention, and he was really nice, and he signed in fact, you know, I know we're talking about VHS covers, but he signed a Blu-ray copy of Basket Case for me. Hopefully y'all can see that. Let me put it over here. You can see Frank Henenlotter's name there on this side. And then he says, to Dana, from your friends at the Hotel Broslin. And that's the hotel that Dwayne stays in New York. So, but this also has the tagline, the tenant in room 7 is very small, very twisted, and very mad. And I'm sure there were some VHS covers that had that as well. Okay, so going along to the next one. Okay, so gang, This is going to be an example of a bad film. I'm not going to lie, a bad horror film that has a fantastic cover. And it has a cover that I feel like would catch anybody's eye. So you've got the title Trick or Treats. You've got a trick or treat candy bag that's torn open partially. You can see an ear and what appears to be a head in there, and blood dripping out of it. That is fantastic, a fantastic advertisement, in my opinion, for um, for a movie. Uh, this one, Deer Hunter, you saw Trick or Treats or Basket Case? Because I'm surprised that you would see Trick or Treats. Excuse me, sorry about that. But yeah, this one definitely. Now, this one was not one I rented. The story I have to tell about this one is that back in the day, and I don't know, I've mentioned Yahoo auctions before to people, and I think that's where I got this one. And a lot of people say, dang, I don't remember Yahoo auctions. Oh, well, this one is actually Trick or Treats. Now, Trick or Treat, um, if you're talking about like Trick or Treat, the rock star Sammy Kerr movie, or um, Trick or Treat. Hey, Phil, it's good to see you in here. It was on Blu-ray. Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Um, that's really cool though. That I don't think I have seen anything like that um, in Target around here. Um, but this movie uh, basically concerns this man who his wife doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She wants to um, give she wants to go off with this other man, so she wants to get rid of her husband. So she makes it appear that he's crazy, and the men in the white coats come and take him away. And he's not really that dangerous, it seems, or anything like that. So the movie just kind of plods along. Again, I'm not going to lie to you folks. It's not a good horror movie. It might be fun for a watch every once in a while. But other than that, the only thing it's got going for it is um, this cover art, basically. Um, I wouldn't suggest you buy it without, watching a for free copy first if you could find it on a streaming service or on YouTube or something like that. But I wouldn't recommend you buying it until you watch it and figure out if this is something that you really want to invest in your money in. Dear Hunter, you say Trick or Treats. It was the same cover. I figure it was a copy that was probably ordered for pickup and canceled since there was only one. That could be it. That definitely could be it. Um, but this basically the gentleman that gets put in the mental hospital breaks out, and but again he never seems really that dangerous, and he's trying to make it back home and make it back home to see his son and stuff, and maybe get revenge on his ex-wife who is remarried. Uh, and that's basically, I think there's a little bit of blood and stuff like that, but just overall, not a great film. But it has great marketing for it. Whoever created this cover art knew exactly what they were doing. And if you had picked this up at a video rental store and rented it, um, once the rental place has your money, they don't care. If you come back and say, I hated this piece of crap, they're going to say, well, sorry about your bad luck, but they've already got your money. They're not going to give your money back. And that's happened to me more times than I can count. Really great cover, really bad movie. Okay. But I did want to show this one because I had a story to tell about it. And in my case, I ended up not renting it, but buying it for a few bucks. It wasn't a lot from Yahoo Auctions. So, for any of you guys and gals that remember Yahoo Auctions, that's where I picked up Trick or Treats. Okay. So, the next one is Alone in the Dark. And some people think this one's kind of wacky and off the wall too. I really enjoy this. It's got Donald Pleasance. It's got Jack Palance or Jack Palance, however you want to pronounce it. Martin Landau's in this. You got all these really, prominent stars, really, in my eyes, that are in this little crazy horror film. But it's creepy in spots. There's a blackout in this town, and this new psychiatrist has started work at the mental hospital. And some of the most dangerous inmates do not like him and are convinced that he killed their previous psychiatrist. And so they want to kill Dr. Potter and they want to kill Dr. Potter's family. There's one of the men that is just referred to as the bleeder. And you do not see his face until near the end. Okay. But let's talk about this cover art here. I see you there, Uncle Bill. No, well, the problem wasn't really with our shitter, Uncle Bill. It didn't start out that way. Our problem with the shitter started after the plumber was here and he broke the wax seal at the base of the toilet. And so he didn't tell us don't do laundry or anything like that because you might walk into the bathroom and have water leaked out all over your floor. But anyway, me and Steve have been taking showers, albeit quick showers. We have been flushing the toilet when we needed to, pretty much, no problem. But then I got the big idea to do a little bit of laundry, not much, just a little bit. And everything was going fine, I guess, until the water drained out of the washer. And Steve yelled out, and it was because there was water all over the floor in the bathroom. And he thought the toilet had overflowed. I said, no, the toilet didn't overflow. I checked. It had literally leaked out from the base of the toilet. And it was because the plumber moved our toilet, broke the wax seal, and didn't put another wax seal on, didn't warn us. We're not plumbers. We don't know this stuff. So anyway, there's the sad tale of our toilet and our plumbing problems. Bill, you say back in the 80s, I always thought the better the cover, the worse the movie. A lot of the times that is the case, Phil. Now, with Alone in the Dark, I love this image of the bloody axe. You see the one leg, the one arm, the one foot. And you see this very ominous being that's headed towards a city. And no, the shooter's not back to normal now, Uncle Bill. They told us that we have a main blockage. Our main blockage is in our main drain pipe. It's not just a clog that, just a regular everyday clog. They said, because our house is so old, they said we got about 70 years or 70 plus years of sludge in that main drain pipe. So it was just an accident waiting to happen because that sludge has become hard as a rock. And no matter what tool this guy used, he couldn't break it up. So they're going to have to put new piping in. But I told Steve, that he better tell them that they broke our wax seal on our toilet and didn't replace it, didn't tell us about anything. And then we had water everywhere on the floor. I had to use about every towel we had in the house to sop up this water. Dear Honey, you say snake slithered into the pipe, maybe. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. Hopefully by tomorrow evening, things will be more back to normal. But Steve says, don't do any dishes. Don't even do any dishes in the sink. Don't take any more showers. So I'm glad I got my hair washed and did all that last night. So, yeah. Tale of woe from the Benningfield household about our plumbing. But anyway, Alone in the Dark. Yeah, this was one I believe I rented to, saw that cover art, and there was no stopping me. I had to rent it. Now, I don't feel that this is a bad film. Now, Trick or Treats, I felt that that was a bad film with excellent cover art. But Phil, you are right, especially back in the 80s, that a lot of times the better the cover art, the worse the movie actually was. But in this case, for me, excellent cover art, excellent movie, and it's a movie I still go back to this day. All right. So the next one, this one will probably be familiar to a lot of you folks, and that is Creep Show. I have always, always, always loved that image of the creep having the ticket in his bony hand, and he's in the ticket booth at the movie theater. You have the sign that's on the front of the booth that says the most fun you'll ever have being scared. I mean, all of those things combined. Plus, you got George Romero and Stephen King's name on the front cover. How could you resist? And I believe, again, that this was one that I rented. Because even at a young age, I was a huge Stephen King fan, became a huge George Romero fan as well at an early age. As I believe Uncle Bill did, but I will save any stories that he wants to tell about that. He may want to, reiterate those stories on the Dead Pit site, or the Dead Pit channel, rather. I would love to have Uncle Bill come back on here with me again, but so far, what about Romero? I said, I think both of us, both you and I, discovered a love of George Romero at a young age. And I said that you had some stories that you've told in the past, but I would rather you share them because you're more entertaining than me talking about that. I realized that once again, it hit me again when I went back and I watched Into the Pit again, because your mom was talking on there about how when you would go visit your dad, he would always show you these horror movies. So, and I think, am I correct, Uncle Bill? Wasn't Dawn of the Dead kind of the one that cemented the deal for you as far as Romero's concerned? And I saw Dawn of the Dead at a young age too. That's something that me and Uncle Bill have in common, which I think is kind of cool because we're friends, and it's just cool when you discover other people have similar interests or kind of had similar introductions to some of the directors and writers and actors and actresses and all that. Uncle Bill, you say it was the one I remember the most from my childhood. Not sure why it stuck with me the most. Yeah, I don't know what I always love zombies, but I I love zombies when they were on the fringes, when it was kind of weird to like zombie movies and kind of weird to like George Romero stuff and things like that. Now it's just all part of the everyday vernacular, and it's I just relish kind of going back and watching the old stuff. Dear Hunter, you say you'll need to let Steve know, if he doesn't already, that the 2004 Thai classic Shutter is being released on 4K and Blu-ray via Umbrella today. I'll have to tell him that, dear Hunter. Thank you for letting us know about that. Creepshow is good. You get several different stories. It's a variety of stories. You've got uh, a creature in a crate. You have a father coming back to get his revenge for a Father's Day massacre, even though he, was an asshole. um, you have a gentleman who's not a very nice person who gets his comeuppance, um, but he doesn't like bugs, he doesn't like germs, and he's basically taken out by roaches. Um, so you have a country bumpkin played by Stephen King, um, who gets meteor shit on his hands and proceeds to have a plant like growth all over his entire body. Um, so, a collection of stories unlike any other for me. This is one of my favorite anthology films. Um, yes, he wants his cake, and he'll do anything to get it, right? Um, so, um, if you've never seen Creepshow and you're a fan of either George Romero or Stephen King or the both of them, you like anthology horror films, this one is the one for you. But I'm telling you, folks, nothing can beat cover art like this. It's just absolutely, it's old school, it's fantastic, and I love it every time I see it. Um, so we've got one more to talk, or I've got one more to talk about um, tonight, and then I'm going to probably call it a night unless you guys and gals have any questions for me. So the last one I want to talk about is Poltergeist, and that copy looks a little worse for wear, folks. I'm going to kind of try to make that a little bigger. I'm going to make me smaller for this one. And it's kind of hard to read the tagline for Poltergeist, but it's that they're here. And if you've seen Poltergeist, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that image of the little girl with her hands on the fuzzy television set where it's not on a station. Does anybody remember when TV's channels used to go off the air at midnight, I believe? Um, Uncle Bill, you say I had that one. Don't like the movie that much now for some reason. You talking about Poltergeist, Uncle Bill, or are you talking about Creep Show, or which one you talking about? Um, so um, Poltergeist, I mean, this kind of cemented the deal for me, seeing the little girl with her hands on the off channel television, they're here thing. Poltergeist, mm, I'd say wait a little bit, Uncle Bill, and kind of give it another try again. I mean, even if you have to watch it somewhere else. But this movie has some very creepy moments in it. It's a supernatural movie. Um, and it starts off kind of, it's kind of funny, the little girl sliding across the kitchen and things like that. But then it gets really ominous really quickly. And a scene that has stuck with me to this day is the scene where when the ghost hunters, or whatever you want to call them, come to the Freeling's house. one of the gentlemen gets hungry at night. He goes into the kitchen. He gets a steak out. Now, I don't know if this is his steak or the Freeling steak, but I guess that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But he lays it on the counter, and it proceeds to crawl across the countertop and sprout maggots. And he's so sickened by it that he runs into, I'm I'm not sure if it's a laundry room area, a bathroom, or what. But he runs in there, and there's a mirror and there's a sink and all that. I just always thought maybe it was a bathroom area. And he is going to splash water on his face and stuff. And a reddish light comes on, and it's like him being in a microwave. And he watches himself pulling his face off, and a skeleton is underneath. Um, and then all of a sudden, flash, he's back to normal. But that guy, because of that scene, um, he ends up leaving the Freeling's house. He's not coming back again. Phil, you say Poltergeist is a little dated looking, but still way better than the remake. I mean, the remake was okay, but for me, there's nothing like the classic original Poltergeist. But again, that cover art is one of those pieces of artwork that cements the deal for me, and cemented the deal for me when I first saw Poltergeist. You see that cover, and I don't know, it's very eerie, in my opinion. It's very eerie looking. There's not a lot going on. You pretty much have a stark black background. You have the white lettering that says Poltergeist. You have more white lettering that says there, here, but what does it for me is the central part. The girl with her hands on the TV, and there's just something unsettling about that image. But I can understand, Phil, you saying it's a little dated looking. I could definitely see that. But I guess, I could go on and on and on about Poltergeist, but I'm not going to. But I've been on here a total of around 48 minutes. But I want to thank you guys and gals that showed up. Even if you weren't chatting in here, if you were watching along, didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, that is perfectly fine. The movie is a little dated looking. The picture on the VHS is awesome. Yeah, good point, Phil. And that's the point I'm trying to make with these, for right now, with these VHS overloads. When I finish talking about 1980s VHS covers, then we'll cover some other aspect of VHS. But primarily horror VHS, but I may veer off of the horror and go into other genres as well. So, but again, I want to thank everybody that showed up tonight, and I also want to thank people that will watch this on the replay, because I've noticed that these VHS overloads, it must have struck a chord with people, because even if not very many people are coming in the live stream, people see it on the replay. The first one of these I did, there were 300 and something views. Now, that might seem like small potatoes to some larger channels, but I'm still growing. I got 919 subscribers. And that brings me to a point I want to bring up with you guys and gals. Now, a lot of you that come in here, you probably already subscribed and like the videos and do all that. But I just want to remind everybody, there are many, many, many ways that you can support the channel, and you can support me if you enjoy what I'm putting out here. And not all of them cost you money. Yeah, to join the channel, it costs. To join my Patreon, it would cost. But to subscribe, to like videos, to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content that I'm putting out, and to share my channel with friends and family members that you think might enjoy it. That costs you absolutely nothing, but it helps me. It helps the channel. My goal right now is to get to 1,000 subscribers. And again, I know that's small potatoes for people to have larger channels, but hey, we all had to start somewhere, right? So if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't, liked videos in a while, if you've never hit that notification bell, here now is the time to do those things. And also just share my channel, Deadites on Deck, with anybody and everybody that you can. And if I get to 1,000 subscribers, me and Candace, at least, we're going to try to get Chris and Steve in on this, but me and Candace are going to do some cosplay for you folks if I get to 1,000 subscribers. I am going to do Cheryl from The Evil Dead, and Candace is going to be Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. If we can get Steve and Chris in on it, then Chris will cosplay Chrissy from Three's Company, and Steve will cosplay Janet from Three's Company. But in any event, me and Candace will be doing the cosplay. So let's help me get to 1,000 subscribers so y'all can see that cosplay. I'm on my way now. I've got 919 subscribers now. I thank each and every one of you folks. And I love each and every one of you, not in a weird way, but in a friendly way, for supporting the channel. I could not thank you enough for the support that you guys and gals have given me. And I guess that's all from me for now, and for this edition of VHS Overload. I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. I'm out of here for tonight, folks, and I'll see everybody next time.